So as you probably have guessed at this point, I was born and raised in Santa Barbara, which is a beautiful place that we all get to enjoy. However, my family didn't really fit the mold. We were actually homeless, and we lived and parked usually around the beach because, well, that's the best place to park. Overcoming homelessness in general, like I grew up, and the challenges were basically, for me, not telling anybody. Right? And so I felt like I had to lie or at least withhold truth about it because it was something that I was very ashamed of. But this experience did teach me a valuable lesson and ultimately enabled me to overcome a lot of obstacles, including getting my degree in business and moving on to actually being able to be a community member who worked here and lived here and able to stay here, which was really amazing for a lot of people right now. That's a very big struggle. And at some point in the middle of that, I was like, well, actually, I don't really have enough money to pay for rent, so I'm going to live in a van it ended up being about 6 months. And then when I ended up finding a place, I had to take out a loan on my credit card, and I was able to do my down payment for my first apartment. But again, it was a struggle to be here. And I bought my first house at 25. I think that was really me overcompensating for being homeless and really just kind of went a little crazy. I ended up buying, at this point, 7 properties, 3 of them in California in Santa Barbara County, and then the other ones in Hawaii. In my corporate journey, I got to do government contracts. Woohoo, so fun. And so I did that for about a decade, and then I worked at an aerospace company, and then I ended up landing at a really amazing dental equipment company, which I wanted to retire at. However, it ended up that COVID came along, and I had to start all over again. But this time, I thought I would do something that I really, really loved, which was real estate. I know that seems a little weird, but I really enjoyed the process of buying and how it helped me elevate my life, and I wanted other people to be able to do that. I don't know which slide I'm on. That's great, right? All right. But here we are. So I discovered that my passion for real estate was going to help me actually be able to help other people. And as I started my property management business, I started taking applications from people, and I realized that a lot of these applications wouldn't be qualified. And I was like, how do I help people get qualified? I worked really hard at that, so we'll move on from that to the ADUs. I found out about ADUs, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is great because this could actually help people in Santa Barbara stay in Santa Barbara. Maybe they have a house that they're renting or they own, and they could build an ADU, or maybe this could be more housing for people. And so I've really been pushing for that. This part right here is about kind of really extending my ability to help people was to go into philanthropy. My mother wrote this book recently, and it's called The Meeting in the Rain, and it's about her homeless experience where she was homeless for 38 years. And this was kind of my life too. So it was a really big, important part of my life. And so I like to take that forward with all the things that I'm doing. Santa Barbara, unfortunately, the median house price is $1.3 million, and a 2-bedroom is renting for $3,500. That's $42,000 a year, and even people who are making $100,000 a year can't afford that. So what we're looking at here is we have a really big target for what we want to build in Santa Barbara. There's 8,000 total units, and only 5,000 of them are actually for low income, and only 3 of those 1,000 are actually for really low income. And HUD reports that every 100 extremely low income renter households, only 33 have affordable and available rental homes that exist in the nation. So you're getting 33% of people can be housed. The affordability issue is huge, right? We have all these different places that are not covered. So there's, there are more people turning to vehicles and RVs than we can handle. And so what we are proposing at the Committee for Social Justice really is, let's start an RV 24-hour park, because we really need something that just can be quickly initiated, people can get housed, and we can start helping with compliance, because parking RVs around the city, actually people are getting a lot of tickets and dealing with then the criminal system, which is not helping anything, it's just costing more money. So here you can see one of the little renderings that we thought could work with like a building in the middle that has like the Sorry. Anyways, I'm going to move on to the criminalization because that's really huge. Criminalization costs an enormous amount of money, and it leads to people going into jail, fines, and continued homelessness, honestly. Criminal records that they can't actually then be able to get into a rental. And if you look at this, it's like $83,000 per year to criminalize somebody, or we could just provide them a low-income house for $31,000. How about we do that? That just seems like the best choice when it comes to financial. So why can't we convince the government to do that? I don't know. We like to actually make people feel bad for the policies that have been put in place. The benefits of housing programs, it reduces the strain on the emergency services and law enforcement. It provides stability and allows people to seek employment and healthcare because now they can take a shower and get to the places that they need to go. And the long-term cost savings for taxpayers overall, as you know. My conclusion is investing in different types of permanent housing solutions accommodates the diversity within the unhoused community. It's more cost-effective in a humane way better than criminalizing, and it redirects the funds towards sustainable housing solutions that can save taxpayers money. And my final thoughts are thank you so much for listening and considering ways that you could help in our community with housing needs by building ADUs or promoting long-term housing projects, an RV park, or assisting in removing the stigma around unhoused members of our community. We need more empathy and better understanding. Criminalization is not the way to solve our housing crisis.